What's happening, everybody? This is the Club of the Man 1993 coming at you for a special video. Yes, it has been a while since I've done one of these special videos. Like, not really one of my scheduled events like Top 10 Topics or anything like that, but this is one of my special videos for WWE. It's been a long time. I think the last one I did was August 30th, when I did a special video regarding my thoughts on Triple H finally turning on Seth Rollins. And since then, I mean, I've still been busy doing a lot of stuff for this channel, but I never got around doing these special videos. There was just a lot of other stuff I wanted to do, and plus with my life starting to become busier at the time too, with me starting my job and such like that, that's what happened. So, in the spirit of Christmas also for this video, I thought I'd just post this one with a different shot, so you can see my tree. I hope the buzzing from the fiber optic lights isn't too loud in this video, which I doubt because I tested it before. But this video, so what gave me this idea to do this, I'm going to do 3 special videos before the end of 2017. Well, actually 4. One of them's going to be like a year in review video for this channel. I'm going to talk about some stuff there and we'll expect 2017. But I'm going to do 3 special videos for stuff involving WWE, though. This first one is going to be my top 10 favorite moments of 2016 in WWE, and then 2 more to come, but those will probably come after Christmas, most likely after Christmas, and then of course before the new year. But I won't tell you the names of them yet, just in case something happens that it falls through some of the names. I don't want to make any promises, but this one is my WWE top 10 favorite moments in 2016. So, we're going to start off, of course, with number 10. We're going to go from 10 to 1. Not like top 10 topics where I go 1 to 10. So now we're going to do 10 to 1. So number 10 of my favorite moments of the year was the main roster debut of Bayley. I picked this one as number 10 because, you know, I'd watched Bayley down NXT. She's somebody that I know a lot of us were excited to see on the main roster. It was starting to become a little bit overdue, I felt. They did. Well, I think the way they wrote her feud with Asuka, though, she battled her and lost at Dallas in probably their better match at NXT TakeOver Dallas. And then they wrote her off TV very briefly, so that way Asuka could have a match against Nia Jax at NXT TakeOver The End. And, I mean, I think it was better if they had their second match at NXT TakeOver Back to Brooklyn or Brooklyn 2, whatever the heck it's called. So I was fine with that, but it was just when she finally debuted, the pop she got, and this I'm talking about both Battleground and the night after SummerSlam when she officially joined the main roster. But when she made her main roster debut at Battleground, I was like, you know, it wasn't quite. I mean, it's kind of expected because it was for Sasha's mystery partner. Like, who else were they going to have for like a mystery partner? That, you know, if it was just like somebody else that was on the main roster, it wouldn't have felt as special, but it was Bayley. It felt special, and yeah, it was something I was looking forward to. And it's like, come on, when's Bayley finally going to get on the main roster? We thought she would have been at the draft, but they pushed it off a little bit longer. So it's like, hey, I'm fine. I knew it was going to happen. I just stayed patient, waited. Wasn't too long after that. So that's number 10. Number 9 for my top favorite moments of the year in WWE was Chris Jericho's catchphrases. Yes, that's right. Chris Jericho returned. Well, here's the thing. He was gone from Night of Champions 2014. He came back at Night of Champions 2015. He was the mystery partner for Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose versus the Wyatt family, which at the time it was Bray Wyatt, Braun Strowman, who recently debuted on the main roster as well, and Luke Harper. And after the match, it looked like that Jericho was the one who cost him the match. It kind of seemed like he turned heel then. Of course, they never really followed up with that at the time. So, Jericho disappeared again and didn't return until the first Raw of the new year at the beginning of January, just in 2016. And at first when he came back, I wasn't really quite feeling his return because it's like, it felt a little bit broad. Like, it didn't feel like that special. He had the feud with AJ Styles, though. It was face on face, and then they teamed up to be Y2 AJ, which they had a great match, one of the best tag matches of the year. When he teamed with AJ Styles, take on a New Day for the tag titles, and that's when he turned on AJ Styles. They had one more match at Mania, which kind of surprised that he won. I was hoping that AJ Styles would have won that, but then he went on to, you know, have the catchphrases of "you stupid idiot," And just a heel Jericho, the big mouth he has in the ring, you hear him going, "Come on, Ambrose! Come on, Ambrose!" And the feud with Dean Ambrose was great. Their Asylum match wasn't too bad. It was a little long, but it was a little bit edgier. Now that was a great match. The 69 tacks in my back. They took away though the light up jacket, which at first I'm thinking, darn, I love that jacket. It's great, but I felt the light up jacket more so fit his face character. I'm kind of glad they took it away after they turned him heel, because I felt it would have been a little bit out of place. Like, why would some guy want to have a cool entrance with lights if they're a heel? I mean, some would work, but I think it wouldn't have worked for Jericho as a heel. And then, the booking hasn't been the best with him and Kevin Owens. Like, it could be better, but I'm glad they have him and Kevin Owens together. Both of them on the mic, like they both are perfect to be considered best friends. We're disappointed now that they're not going to have the two of them face off at the Royal Rumble, but maybe Mania. I've heard rumors that WrestleMania 33 will be the end of Jericho's current run. I don't know if this will be the end from in WWE for good, but he's going to go back on tour with his band Fozzy sometime in April. So I don't know, maybe a Jericho and Owens match at Mania to send him off, unless if Finn Balor's going to be returning in time to face Owens for his rematch for the Universal title. We'll have to see what happens then. But yeah. And of course, I cannot forget too, the list of Jericho. I so wanted to make a movie where I say, so you just made the list! But I don't know, right now it needs to be in more of a negative manner, not much of a positive manner, so I don't know, but that you just made the list phrase, the list of Jericho is probably over than almost everybody on Raw. It's kind of ridiculous, but it's really funny all at the same time. I even asked for that shirt for Christmas, the "You Just Made the List" t-shirt, so maybe I'll get it, I don't know, but we'll have to see what happens on Sunday when I open up my gifts. So yeah, that's number 9. Jericho's catchphrases. And also, too, keep in mind, I've read rumors, Chris Jericho is only supposed to be around from Royal Rumble till WrestleMania 32. But with this, how great his heel work was going, they kept signing for a little longer. And hey, if you're producing well, you're going to keep getting rewards. So Chris Jericho definitely stayed a lot longer than he should have this time. But I'm happy. It was fun. So, yeah. Number 8. This one I could have put a little higher on this list, but I only put it down at number 8 because of how this person's title reign went. It was not terrible, but they could have definitely done a lot better with this person as the WWE champion. Whatever the title's called now. It's changed 3 times this year now. But the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, if the first half was... the first half was what it was. The first half was like a C show, but the second half was definitely no doubt about an A show. If the first half was definitely better, Money in the Bank could have easily been the pay-per-view of the year, in my opinion. But Dean Ambrose at Money in the Bank, one of his best career moments, probably his career-defining moment, where he won Money in the Bank, and then that night, about an hour later, in the main event, it was between his 2 former Shield brothers, Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, which was another really good match. And Seth Rollins beat Roman Reigns clean to retain his championship after he returned from his ACL injury. And then, speaking of ACL injuries, I had just hurt my knee about a week ago. So, it wasn't an ACL tear, luckily. It was just a hyperextension in my knee. But and my knee was definitely off for about a week. And then I remember it was like a week and a half later, it was Money in the Bank. And as soon as Ambrose's music hit, I was at my friend Dan Giza's house. I jumped out of that chair out of excitement. I'm like, is this finally going to be the moment where Dean wins the championship? He came so close so many times, and could this be it? As soon as the music hit, I just jumped out of that chair in excitement. And I was on my toes like that whole 3 minutes, however long it was, till Ambrose successfully became champion. Again, he was alright as champion. It could have done a little bit better, but I think Roode did hurt him was when Stone Cold Steve Austin kind of exposed him on his Stone Cold podcast. But yeah, one of the more exciting moments of the year for me, Dean Ambrose becoming champion and Money in the Bank. Number 7 is a glorious one, as number 7 was the debut of Bobby Roode. Just every time I just love Bobby Roode's entrance. Just like how a lot of people get into anything on NXT. It's rarely ever a dull moment. The crowd is always into it, but just how explosive his entrance is just creates so much life. when he gets to the main roster, like, they better not ruin him at all. I mean, his entrance, for starters, they better not ruin that at all, period, because that is one of the best entrances I've ever seen. Well, one of the best. I don't know if it's the best. It could be a tie between this one or the one after, or one afterwards. Well, actually, no. Nothing beats the Undertaker's entrance. We'll give that number one to the Undertaker. But definitely Bobby Roode is definitely up there, though. And the next person, also, number 6, another debut from the King of Strong Style, Shinsuke Nakamura down at NXT. Especially, one of my favorite matches of the year was definitely his debut match against Sami Zayn at NXT TakeOver Dallas, which was the Sami Zayn send-off from NXT and Nakamura's debut. And it showed you everything that Nakamura is in just that match. And like, Sami Zayn lost that night. Don't get me wrong, he lost, but it was one of his strongest losses, and one of the strongest I think you've ever seen Sami Zayn. Just unreal, just an unbelievable match. I enjoyed it. It's number 6. Number 5, another exciting moment for me. Going back a little earlier, we're talking about Dean Ambrose and Money in the Bank. His Shield brother Seth Rollins, the surprise return at Extreme Rules. I mean, we read rumors. We keep hearing Seth Rollins could be back here, could be back there. I thought Rollins wouldn't be back until the build for SummerSlam. That's when I thought he was going to come back. But at the end of Extreme Rules, because I remember that night, because I was supposed to go downtown to watch the Penguins on the big screen with some friends, but it was raining that night, and I'm like, I'm going to stay home. But it's like, I watch hockey, but I'm not as into it as some of my other friends, so I was supposed to go back and forth between that, but I was mainly watching Extreme Rules that night in the end. And the main event, which was a good match between AJ Styles and Roman Reigns, and I remember thinking, this match has to have, I mean, it was a good match, but I thought, storyline-wise, it should probably do something with the club, like expose like who's really behind teaming up with the club. Which 2 weeks later, AJ Styles, it looks like AJ Styles left them, but then it's like he didn't know what else to do, so he pretty much just got them back. So I mean, yeah, that was okay for me. I mean, the heel turn for AJ Styles was phenomenal, no pun intended. But people, of course, are just like booing Roman Reigns winning the title because they don't want to see him with a title. And all of a sudden, I start hearing cheers. I'm like, what are they cheering about? And I see someone else run to the ring. I'm like, wait, what? And then I'm like jumping on my bed. I'm like, oh my god, that's Seth Rollins! Seth freaking Rollins! Seth Rollins is back! My voice is a little dry, so that's why it sounded a little rough. But yeah, I went nuts. Seth Rollins made a surprise return. The big pop he got. Yeah, I agree. He probably should have returned as a babyface and not a heel. But what we got with his brief time as a heel when he came back, I find acceptable. I think him being a face around then would have been a lot better. But yeah, number 5 was the return of Seth Rollins. Speaking of returns, number 4, this is probably the best return of 2016 in my opinion, because it was not advertised. Nobody was expecting it. It made sense though for the rumors for the Undertaker's match at WrestleMania 32, because it kept saying whoever's going to face the Undertaker is not currently on the main roster. Night after Fastlane, I have a really bad taste in my mouth after a terrible pay-per-view Fastlane was. I put it as worst of the year, which I'll explain that story at the end of this video. And I'm thinking, how on earth are they possibly going to make WrestleMania exciting? Because that pay-per-view had no hype at all for WrestleMania. It was just a filler pay-per-view, in my opinion. We don't have a pay-per-view because we have to have a pay-per-view in February. And then the beginning segment was that Vincent J. McMahon, or whatever the heck it is, Award of Excellence. I can't remember the exact name of it. I'm sorry. And Stephanie McMahon's about to make her speech about her winning it. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, seriously. Like, I was pumped for this thing. I thought, oh, this is gonna be a big deal. And I'm like, if anybody's gonna interrupt this, it's probably gonna be like Roman Reigns or somebody. I don't know who the heck's gonna interrupt this. And Stephanie didn't even get a word out of her mouth. And keep in mind, I have not watched WWE that long. I've only been watching WWE full time since 2013, but I have watched some stuff in the past, so I knew who this person was, but I didn't know his theme song. As soon as I hear some music hit, I'm thinking, wait, what? Who's this? And then it zooms out, and I see it says Shane O'Mac. I'm like, Shane McMahon? Because like I heard a story about how he left WWE in 2009. Well, technically in 2010, but he was last seen in WWE in 2009. He just felt it was the relationship between him and his father was breaking over the business of it. They weren't seeing eye to eye a lot of things. But yeah, Shane McMahon made his return, and I was just shocked. I'm like, What? I wasn't expecting a return from Shane McMahon at all anytime soon. No rumors or anything. It wasn't advertised. That's why I say it was one of the best returns of probably the best return of 2016. And I think just the presence of Shane McMahon coming back, like, a more lovable corporate character. Not when he's been in charge of the show, like how he was in charge of SmackDown, and whenever he ran Raw a few times before the brand split, it just showed that like he was somebody who wanted to bring change, and the writing just all made sense with it. So Shane McMahon, because at the beginning of the year, I thought if nobody else can surpass wrestling wise, I was gonna give Shane McMahon like the hero of the year or something like that, because just him coming back, the intelligence behind his character just fit perfect with the whole story about us, and him returning also, I think, is what made 2016 even more better of a year than how better the dreadful 2015 was. But yes, that was number 4. Number 3 was what I found very, very important this year. One of the best things that's happened in wrestling this year was mainly the feud between Charlotte and Sasha Banks, but more focusing on women's wrestling. Until this year, I hadn't really seen that great of women's wrestling at all, since it was called the Divas Championship, being more focused on models. In fact, the other day I was doing some work for my job, and I just put on the WWE Network in my room, while I was doing work, and I just let some of those WWE 24s play through, and I didn't change it, but the one I let play through was the one on the Divas or Women's Revolution, whichever one it was titled right then, probably the Women's Revolution. And hearing how a lot of them were saying, I feel like I'm come here to be a model. I'm not here to be a model. I'm here to be a model. I'm here to be a wrestler. And this year, bringing back the Women's Championship at WrestleMania 32, the great match that was, and just everything, especially in the Sasha Banks and Charlotte feud, through the Hell in a Cell match, the Falls Count Anywhere match, the Iron Man match was definitely a little off, but just how especially those two women brought this year, it brought back women's wrestling WWE. It made it serious again. It brought back the Trish Stratus and Lita days. I mean, I don't know if it's going to hit that high of expectations, but it was just a great year for women's wrestling. I hope it continues to go over. Even for the other women on like SmackDown right now, you have Alexa Bliss and Becky Lynch having a great feud. They even had a tables match. Carmella and Nikki Bella had a great feud. Even did a no DQ match. A lot of different stuff in women's wrestling this year, so I hope it continues in 2017. Now, number 2 is originally going to be my number 1, but there's something else number 1 that I picked, and it's actually a little more personal to me. It's nothing that happened on WWE television, but an event that happened to me this year that means a lot to me. But number 2 was, in my opinion, the match of the year in WWE, and that is John Cena versus AJ Styles at SummerSlam. And it just told a really great story, and I think just the result of that match was just that. I mean, again, all respect to John Cena. I respect everything he's done for WWE, but I understand at the same time why people are sick of him. People want to see something else. People don't like John Cena, and I understand why. But it's I respect him. I think he's been a great addition to WWE in his tenure, however long he's been there. I mean, especially how he was written this year, though. I think it's one of the best I've seen John Cena since I've started writing, and the biggest respect he's gotten since I started writing how he's been written this year. But just the way how losing to AJ Styles clean and the reaction that he gave, which if you saw in the intro thumbnail, you see the same reaction when AJ Styles kicked out of that third rope AA. It just told a story there. It's like, this guy really is here to take over my spot. And AJ Styles cemented himself as the MVP of 2016, in my opinion, WWE, with that win right there. Just a phenomenal match. Just excellent. My favorite match of the year, definitely. John Cena versus AJ Styles at SummerSlam. Number 1, as some of you probably may have seen it earlier in the year. Probably you have to go back to very late February. I'm sorry, January. I'm sorry. It's actually a moment that happened to me that was not on WWE television. I can't remember the exact date, but I know it was sometime in late January. There was a World of Wheels convention in Pittsburgh, and for those of you who have seen this, I'm sorry I'm repeating the story again. And originally, Seth Rollins was supposed to be signing autographs at the World of Wheels convention, and my friend Daniel Giza and I were going to go down and get his autograph. Well, then I get a text from Dan saying that Daniel Bryan is going to replace Seth Rollins instead at the World Wrestling Convention. And as we all know, Daniel Bryan is my favorite WWE wrestler of all time. He's the guy. His story to the top of WrestleMania is what got me into watching WWE in the first place. And just the whole circumstance of how all this happened. I hear that. I'm pumped. Friday comes. They're calling for bad weather here in Pittsburgh that night. And I am freaking out. I'm just like, oh no. What if it's too bad and we can't get down there? I mean, Dan was even scratching his head too. But it's like, this could be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity here. You never know what could happen. So, it wasn't that bad yet. We made our way down to the David L. Lawrence Convention Center, got in, got his autograph. In case you haven't seen it, here's the photo. But yeah, anyway, at the convention, I mean, when we were in line, I let Dan went first, and I remember he actually said to Daniel, yeah, the show needs you. They need to clear you now. And Daniel's like, yeah, but it's just like, humble man, doesn't really want to talk about that stuff. But it's like, you gotta say something to him. But when I went up, I just pretty much humbly told him, I'm a really huge fan. I even had him sign my, which I have it right here, the Daniel Bryan Just Say Yes, Yes, Yes documentary. As you see, he signed it as to Mike. Yes, Daniel Bryan. Never get sick of watching this. But yeah, and then, shook his hand. Nice meeting you. It was just a really great moment. Like, I was nervous at the same time. It's like, this is one of my big heroes, big time. It's just like, I want to. But yeah. But not just the snow was a coincidence, but according to a WWE 24 special on the WWE Network, if you haven't seen it, check it out. It's definitely a really emotional one to watch. Every time I watch it, like towards the end, I almost cry. I'm being dead serious. Every time I watch it, the last part almost makes me cry at the ending. But I still watch it because I enjoy it. But it was February 8th, about a week and a half later. I was at my internship and I was waiting for a video to export, and then I get a text. My phone buzzed a couple times. I thought, I'll check my phone while I wait. I see two messages that looked similar: a WWE alert and a text from my friend Dan Giza, and it was pretty much saying that Daniel Bryan is announcing his retirement on Raw tonight due to medical reasons. I'm like I was just in shock because, well, one, I knew he was going to be on Raw that night, so I knew it was probably going to be big. Number two, I have been hearing rumors that I knew that they weren't clearing him. They were refusing to clear Daniel Bryan. I'm thinking maybe he'll go to like TNA or Ring of Honor or just go on the Independence or something like that, since WWE won't clear him. But I found out the day before that those signings in Pittsburgh, he found out that another doctor, I forgot, he has something in his brain and that has hit and it's caused like the concussion, the seizures that he's had from concussions that he didn't tell WWE. So that night on Raw, he announced his retirement, and that was another tough speech to get through because, again, as a huge fan, it makes you really emotional. It was a sad day in WWE, but it was a happy day for Daniel Bryan. He wants to start a family, which his first baby is due sometime in the spring, and it's going to be a girl. I'm happy for him and Brie. And but yeah, I remember the moment that almost made me bawl my eyes out, though, that night was definitely when he was talking about the story about at the championship ascension, or whatever the heck it was called, ceremony, before the merging of the two titles between John Cena and Randy Orton at TLC. In his hometown in Seattle, near Aberdeen, Washington, everybody was just chanting his name. They hijacked Raw, and it was the last night that his dad ever got to see him wrestle live. That moment was there that got me big time. It definitely made me want to cry, but yes. But yes, that is it. Those are my top 10 favorite moments in WWE in 2016. As to go over them again, number 10 was the Bayley debut. Then Chris Jericho's catchphrases. Dean Ambrose winning the title of Money in the Bank. Bobby Roode's glorious entrance and debut. Nakamura's debut. Seth Rollins returning Extreme Rules. Shane McMahon's surprise return. Women's wrestling. John Cena versus AJ Styles at SummerSlam, and of course, meeting Daniel Bryan. So that is it, everybody. That is it for this special video. I'm hoping to do a couple more of these before the end of the year. And I usually always say at the end, please subscribe to my professional channel and my friend Daniel Giza's channel as well. Those links are left down in the description. But also, last night with Dan and a couple of his friends on YouTube, which they're two really great guys to talk to. They do great stuff as well on their channel as well. And that is Nerd Coalition and Botch Squad Podcast, Gene from Botch Squad Podcast. Just shout out to you guys. You guys were awesome to talk with last night. You guys do great stuff as well. I'm giving you guys a shout out and leaving the links to your channels down in the bottom of the description of this video as well. So please make sure to check their channels out as well. And also, don't forget to check out my Royal Rumble predicted match card. I uploaded that last night. And anything else that's coming your way in this channel in the future. What are your favorite moments from WWE 2016? Leave those in the comments as well below. And yep, that is it. With that, guys, I will see you later. And this is probably the final video I'm going to make before the holiday. So until after the holiday, I just want to say have a Merry Christmas. Spend a lot of time with family. Eat a lot of cookies. Hope you guys get a lot of great gifts. And just enjoy your holiday. And until then, guys, I will see you later.